Welcome back to the battlefield. Kicking off today's episode with probably a whole lot of nothing for a turn or two, maybe three. But we are preparing to get across the English Channel and into what is modern-day France. However, I don't think we're quite ready to make that jump. We did pop our army into the dock so that hopefully they are already ready on ships, and we'll see how far they can go at the beginning of next turn. We also probably should prepare a secondary army to move across with them. So let's see. Yeah, in light of that, I'm actually going to go ahead and move that direction now. We will pop this general into the city of London so he can help with the defense should the British try, or the Iceni rather, should they try to cross over and counterattack. In the meantime, maybe I shouldn't have moved these guys. I forget that this area, for some reason, you always take attrition if you're down here, even if you fortify and everything. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's also a little weird that I can fortify, but I can't move. What the heck? Why is it acting like I have their fleet selected? Yeah, anyway, the movement seems broken in this particular area. We don't have a ton of money in the bank. I would rather be spending it on upgrades, people. I'd rather be spending it on upgrades at the moment. Let's see, we could bump up to this one without there being a sanitation issue. And that'll be all of our money for this turn. We're still working on improving our relation with the Iweriu. The Iweriu. The I were you, but not. I don't even know how to say that. This is why I just called them their modern day equivalents. I have no clue how to say that name. Anyway, we're trying to improve our relations with them, hopefully form a confederation. I really don't feel like launching an invasion over there. It would be very time consuming and costly and just slow things down a lot. Speaking of slowing things down a lot, I have been doing a whole lot of talking and not a whole lot of acting. So why don't we get that tax rate boosted as much as we can, and then get some empire maintenance reduction. Go ahead and keep improving this fine gentleman's ability to administer to this city. I'm thinking I don't have a ton of industry going on out here right now, so maybe the agricultural skill would be better. Alright, and then let's end the turn. Now I'm really hopeful that our army can get all the way across and land this turn, because I don't want them sitting out in open water in case the Iceni have a even moderately sized fleet. I don't want to take an engagement out on the water. However, we did recently give their fleet a pretty sound thrashing when they attacked us on the southern coast of England. So I hope they don't have enough strength to try and take us out as we cross anyway. Yep, there's our desertion. It's a little bit frustrating, but part of the game nonetheless. Alright, so we do not have the movement range necessary to make it all the way across. I think that means we're going to take a little bit of attrition, which is not a good thing right now. But we'll make it across next turn. We will land and see where we go from there. This will give us a full... We'll land in the summer, we will have the fall to try and take a city, and then we will bunker down for the winter. That is the plan. I don't really care about the Seleucid vassals rebelling because that is the opposite side of the known world. While we're here, let's go ahead and pick up some heavy axemen, or some medium axemen rather, and then move to the next turn. Well, let me double check loyalty. I don't think anything will change there. Looks like we're good to go. I don't remember if I deployed my spy or not, but it's not a major concern right now. We've got things under control for the moment. Our enemies are far enough away that I'm not too concerned about being attacked. However, we're about to change that by entering their territory. Alright, good. Their fleet did not attack me. That could have been disaster. Although, saying that, I don't think they have the ability to ram anything either, so it would have been more of a straight fight, and I think we could have won that decisively. Okay, there's the attrition caused by being in the water. But we are no longer taking attrition. Now I need to secure a supply point immediately, and I'm thinking this would probably be the better city to go for, so let's send the spy back over here, make sure they don't have an army anywhere too close by. Yeah, and that's definitely what we're going to go after, is this city, so we can hopefully have rapid transfer of forces across the sea. Now, if I go into the port, can I recruit? Didn't think so. Okay, let's pop back into the city, pick up some more men. The reason I'm getting this population class is because it's going to take a while for us to be able to replenish anything, and I want to have extra reserves available very, very quickly. And while we're here, I'm not really fond of recruiting these retainer swordsmen. I think I would prefer to have the retainer spearmen just because they are more heavily armored and can deal with cavalry. I don't have a lot of anti-cavalry units, so we'll go with that for now. We are very short on money. I could boost our tax rate up quite a bit, and that would help somewhat without negatively affecting loyalty too bad. Let's just double check that our chieftains rather, are deployed as they should be. Alright, everything looks squared away there. So let's just move to the next turn. I really should check the diplomatic status of this faction with the Lexovii, because if they're friendly, then I could potentially have one army from these guys, one or two armies from these guys, and the British all funnel in to attack me at the same time, and that could be disastrous. Because there's no retreat from our beachhead. We have to secure this or die trying. And taking the 10% attrition that we did while crossing is really, really painful. That's a lot of manpower just out the window arbitrarily. Alrighty, spy. Actually, let's check on the diplomacy real quick first. Alright, so they are quite friendly because they share a common enemy. That is a little bit problematic, but not the end of the world. Is there a chance these guys want trade yet? No, I didn't think so, but it was worth checking. Is it possible that the Iceni would like peace for a few turns? I guess not. Alright, well, here we go. Let's go ahead and... we actually can't reach far enough to launch the attack in either direction. That is horrible. Alright, well, let's move over this way, hang out for another turn, send the spy down here just to see what's around. Alright, like I thought, these guys have an army, but it is... I was about to say it's pretty weak, but they have a lot of cavalry, and that's kind of problematic for this army in particular. I only have 3 units that can effectively deal with cavalry. Well, given that that is the case, why don't we pick up a couple more of these spearmen in preparation for crossing these waters. We'll keep our tax rate increased for now. I know it hurts our growth. Well, you know what? No, we can work on the construction slowly over time for now. I would rather have the growth points. Yeah, I would rather keep the growth for now. The faster we can grow our cities up here, the better. We need a good, solid economic base from which to operate. Our family is still growing up. They are, of course, yet to come of age. Still several years away from that. I don't think there's anything that needs to happen over here. Let's just take a quick glance at the Irish and see if they want military access. They do not.
We also need good food, a warm fire.
That is just fine. Let's go to the next turn. Now, the other thing that needs to happen is the assault on Uliobona. The attack on this port settlement. Man, names kill me. Well, anyway, I hope you guys get at least a little bit of laugh out of me trying to pronounce this crap. Anyway, the attack on this settlement needs to go extremely well because we need to have enough manpower stay in the region that we can defend it for at least one turn while our reserve forces move across the channel. Now, the British have also mustered 2 full armies and moved their navy into position over here. Oh, thank goodness. However, I do not think they have the movement range to get all the way across and attack us. Either way, I could definitely use some extra troops here to help defend, and I think some melee troops would be good. I don't want to spend the money on these guys just because they're expensive, but having some good heavy infantry or some good medium infantry to help hold the line will be useful. I think that's probably all I will recruit over there. Now, these guys, we're going to take attrition either way. Let's just pop them in the port for now. And it is time to launch the attack. So, to our fellow barbarians, what have you. Alright, they actually have quite a few of these Gallic warriors. And these swordsmen are quite good as well, so this is going to be a little bit of a difficult fight, but I am fully confident that we can overwhelm them. We are almost matched man for man in terms of numbers, but obviously our men have some experience on the field of battle, and they are more well equipped. Let us hope that our fearsome fighters can overpower these peasant farmers and take the city with ease. Now, to that end, what I think we're going to do is just set up a nice wide front line, leave some spears on the flanks. We're actually going to leave both of the spears over here. And what I'm kind of thinking is to press through these 2 main gaps and perhaps wrap around the side of this one as well. We'll leave the cavalry on this side, the general in the center. The slingers probably won't have too much work to do in this battle, but we obviously want to keep them nearby to help suppress the enemy. Now, so far the enemy is mostly sitting still. They're doing a little bit of repositioning. Are they going to charge out to meet me? I would expect them to just kind of hang out until these 2 naval units land. That's what the AI has a tendency to do. Let's go ahead and just speed this up while our forces advance. Now, if they are going to advance, there is a good chance that they're all going to bunch up in 1 or 2 of these choke points. That's what I want. I don't want to be fighting spread out like this. I want to get them bunched up so that we can tire them all out without having to exhaust our forces at the same time. Let's just see what this assault raider is doing. Once they land, we'll see if the AI decides to charge out. We've got movement. Still just looks like mostly repositioning. Alright, well, let's move forward. Let the slingers take the front. Alright, now we have a considerable amount of force extended on the right flank, and they have several units on our left flank. If they were to charge out, we don't really have the reserves readily available to meet them. I suppose I could rotate these ambushers over. Let's get our slingers into position and see if we can't target some of their missile units. I definitely am not going to have the angle to hit these guys over the top of that tall building, which appears to be the town center of sorts. The longhouse, if you will. Alright, we've got a lot of movement now. Let's see what happens. We can probably start hitting these guys. What kind of range do they have? Their range is 165, which our range is substantially higher than theirs. So let's just hang back and unleash volley after volley of slinging stones into them. We'll go ahead and put this on fast forward while this is happening. Now they do have 4 units to R3, but as expected, we can get them to rout quite rapidly. We only had to spend enough ammunition to kill half of that unit before they shattered. These men are brave, but they need stronger leadership. This is why we have come. We've come to their lands offering an opportunity for greatness. A chance to prove that we are more than just uncivilized barbarians. Go ahead and just let this play out for a little bit. See how fast we can get this unit to shatter. It should be any moment now. Alright, here we go. Here's what we wanted. We'll drop the slingers back. Their entire army appears to be moving out this one choke point, so let's work around them. Keep a couple of units in reserve, start sending the spears out and around, keep a couple more units in reserve, get these guys working up the front. Alright, well, they haven't charged out just yet. I suspect it's because they still have javelins to throw. Come on, boys, get your javelins out.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Alright, we don't want to overcommit here.
sons of Britain! Moving! Ambushers! Forward! One of our units has used all its ammunition. Orders! Understood.
Okay, they aren't quite committing through here just yet, which is a point of minor frustration. We'll go ahead and let these units use their javelins. The two that have already used their javelins can just charge through. Alright, send in the troops. Let these spear units go around the side and lock the enemy in.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
That's another unit of slingers shattered from the battlefield. Alright, we'll let our brave men fight on the front line. It looks like they are doing quite well for now. These lot need to move forward and use their javelins. I'd rather not send these guys in against their sword units, just because swords have the capability of tearing right through your average spear units. But we will need to send these guys in eventually. Alright, on the front line, things are definitely going our way. We're starting to rout the enemy quite handily. When this unit shatters, I would like to pull back. Let's go ahead and bring the general up here and have him inspire the men.
Our general is under attack.
We'll have our slingers continue to target their general. Now, unfortunately, they did turn a couple of units around to fight us back here, so we won't be getting the same morale penalties that we should from flanking them. Also, unfortunately, our general has decided to inspire the men who are not currently fighting instead of those who are. We're starting to take quite a few casualties on the front line. Let's go ahead and throw in some more troops and start to rotate out. Let's find any of our units that are low on health and pull them out of the front line. Let them have a moment's respite. I'm not actually sure how to pronounce that word now that I think about it. Let's see if we can get this unit of spears to kind of work in around the flank here. Slingers still firing on their general. Let's keep these ambushers around the flanks enough that they can trap any retreating units. We've got a unit of axes here that has decided to break formation quite severely. Let's reform and get ready to go back in. I'm going to try and keep my attack orders on units that are close to shattering, just to hopefully have my troops focus on damaging them first. The sooner we can get units to shatter, the sooner we can move on to other targets. This is when it would be really, really nice to have a general who has the war cry ability. Go ahead and let these axemen stand in the way of the retreating enemy so they can pick up some extra experience, hopefully make up for the men that have died. Alright, we are starting to take quite a bit of damage with this unit. Let's swap them out. Now, I don't know what's the most effective way to swap a unit out. I have a tendency to charge in the unit from behind first, and then once they're engaged, pull the first unit out. However, now that this unit is routing, I kind of want to keep my guys in the fight. Alright, well, they stopped routing, so let's go ahead and pull back for a moment. Taking considerably more damage than I would like to do in this engagement. Alright, these men have had their fun for the time being. Let's let them pull back. And we'll prepare the next wave. These men are fresh, so let's have them charge. We need to start swapping these guys out. Try and have all of these units focus on one unit at a time. That may not be the most efficient way of going about this. Alright, we've got units winning decisively back here. That is what we want to see. Keep our general really close by so we can start to use some of his inspirational abilities again. Just to help our men fight a little bit more effectively on the front. Now we do have some cavalry with a little bit of Javi capabilities, so let's move them up to the front. Alright, this spear unit has had its fun. Time to pull out. All of these fine men can charge in on the general. We have them well and truly surrounded now. There is no escape. This cavalry unit, I don't think, can quite use its Javies. These guys might be able to, though. Maybe if we pull the general out of the way a little more. You were meant to be falling back. Right, we're starting to see their line collapse.
The battle is turning in our favor.
And there you have it. These men fought bravely. I'm impressed that they held on as long as they did. But in the end, they were no match. Alright, now, again, I don't know if it makes a difference in a settlement battle where all of the enemies get wiped out anyway, but we're still going to try and run them all down. Just let these units use the last of their missiles. Never mind, we won't do that. I don't want to be getting any friendly fire casualties here at the end. We can, however, send them after a couple of these retreating units. Try and send in some of these units that took a bit of a beating so that they can recuperate their experience. Whenever men die out of a unit, the unit loses a little bit of experience as it refills and replenishes. So the more experience you can give to those units, the less their casualties will decrease their improvement. Alright, well, that's plenty for now. Only 227 men fell in this battle, which is very, very good. Our spears must have been catching retreating units, because 417 kills against sword units is shocking for a fairly light spear unit. One of my favorite things about this mod is that the spear units actually can be quite devastating. But these guys are very lightly armored and don't have particularly high stats, so usually in a contest against medium or heavy sword infantry they will lose pretty decisively. So I'm happy to see that they got a lot of kills. Across the board our axemen did well, each of them losing perhaps 30 men and killing over 100. That's definitely good combat efficiency. Alright, now we're going to park here for a little while, so I'm thinking it would be a good idea to loot the settlement. That is a huge amount of money. We're going to be here long enough to put down any rebellions, so let's just go for it. That'll also help if we need to hire any mercenaries. Now, they don't have any particularly good mercenaries available, so I'm going to try and avoid hiring them. We will go ahead and just take this city right down to the bare bones. Now, how long would it take to get across here? 2 turns. That's good enough for me. Let's send this army across in the hopes that the British don't have the guts to launch an attack this turn. If they do, we might have severe problems, and you know what? I'm even going to pick up some mercenaries here, just to flesh out the ranks a little. It's a bit expensive, but we just picked up a lot of money from looting this city. Soon we will have our invasion force in full swing. Now let's send the spy over here to keep an eye on. Alright, so our spy has spotted out one of the armies of the Lexovii. Let's try and keep him close enough that he can keep an eye on this army's movements. Alright, overall, that was a successful beachhead invasion. This also gives us the finances to begin really improving our cities. So let's spend the money now, and that leaves us with an extra 6,000 as well. I would like to keep plenty in reserve so that we can hire mercenaries if the need arises, but I want to avoid hiring mercenaries if I can. The Irish are still not ready to accept military access, which is just fine. Alright, well, we've secured a beachhead. We're preparing for a counterattack and sending across reinforcements as quickly as possible in an attempt to solidify our foothold and make it permanent. I hope you guys enjoy. This is going to be the end of this episode for now. I don't think I need to improve that since we're improving this one here. And matter of fact, I can probably swap that out for a more economic building. But anyway, as always, I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll catch you in the next one.